I want to thank our panelists on this panel for preparing their presentations and sharing with us so wholeheartedly as we are completing now the third annual Engage Jain Studies Conference, Compassion in Action. One of the major things we do at Arihanta Institute is engage in what we call engaged Jain studies. We talk about engaged Jainism. And what do we mean by that? We call this the Engaged Jain Studies Conference. This is really a conference, and this is really a method of trying to look at how Jain values, first and foremost, can make the world a better place. And we know they can. We wouldn't all be here participating, listening, presenting if we didn't think that these values, which are in many ways, as we saw, universal values across the Dharma traditions and even across religious traditions, and just being human, compassion, right? We want to understand how these principles can be applied to issues of contemporary relevance and often difficult issues: gun violence, climate change, racism. We heard about so many different things. We also think about the ways that the Jain tradition and those who are in the Jain tradition who want to exercise nonviolence the best possible way they can, we think about how we can engage the Jain tradition with the findings of modern science. And so, for example, we heard Sailesh Rao earlier talking about the main causes of climate change. We hear right now about gun violence. There's so many guns. These are statistics that are startling, right? But what do these statistics do that have to do with both social, environmental, and even animal rights issues? What do? They impel us. They give us that encouragement and that inspiration to want to make the world a better place. And these are Jain principles, and they're shared across traditions, but they're Jain principles that call us to then take this data seriously, compassion, nonviolence, and do something, make some kind of meaningful intervention in the world to make the world a better place. And we all are going through extremely difficult times right now globally. I know this. And I think this was a really important and timely event that we started planning last year. And I'm so glad that we did, because we really need to be hearing these words from everyone. To start with being compassionate with ourselves, compassionate to our family and friends, compassionate to our communities. And I'm just so inspired by all the philosophy and stories of how compassion has been put in action by all of you, and that you continue to do. And it inspires me to want to be a more compassionate, more engaged person of service, as you all are and have inspired all of us to be as well. So those are my closing words. I also want to take a moment to thank Deanna Hewlett, who just turned on her camera. Deanna was so instrumental. Why did this conference go so smoothly? Deanna was so incredibly helpful. You saw her in the chat. You saw her on the screen. She was communicating with you all. Deanna, I really want to thank you so much for all your support. I didn't know if you want to say a couple words before I hand it over to our CEO, Parveen.
I just want to say thank you. I want to say thank you to all the presenters, all the attendees. Everyone really has been an example of compassion in action, and the work that everyone's doing and what everyone's thinking about, and how everyone is just showing up in the world. So much gratitude.
Yeah, thank you so much, Deanna, for all your help. It was instrumental in making this all come together on time and be on time. So thank you, and for sharing all the great information. And now, for the final closing words, I'd like to hand over the floor to our CEO, Dr. Parveen Jain, without whom none of this would have happened. So Parveen, please take the stage and close us out.
Before the closing remarks, can I say 2 sentences? Christopher and Parveen ji, you've done a marvelous job of doing this virtual conference. So many diverse shades and lights of compassion. I couldn't believe that. It's really good, excellent, top notch. Thank you very much.
Jai Junaid, I think Shailendra bhai, you read my mind. I think last 2 days have been just tremendous, very inspirational. We heard so many different types of conversations, but all converged on one word: compassion. Actually, 3 words: compassion in action. Okay, we know that in Jain Dharma, everything starts from compassion. And we know that our spirituality teaches us it's up to us to get into the path of spirituality and sort of invigorate ourselves with the right teachings. Our great teachers just show us how to do that, but it's all up to us. And we saw over the last 2 days how so many people have dedicated. It could be teachings, it could be research, it could be in field services that so many people are doing. It's just amazing. It all starts from the cultivation, the compassion cultivation that sort of prompts us to get into action that humanity needs it so badly. Yesterday we heard about anekantvad in action when it comes to compassion. We heard about aparigraha. We heard about kshama, how they are so important in actions, compassionate actions. And then we heard about personal and collective well-being in terms of security at personal level as well as society level. And then we heard so many sort of in the morning, we started with Sailesh Rao talking and connecting actually compassion with the environment, with veganism, and how beautifully he connected it because they're all dependent. And our planet is actually dependent. He sort of very eloquently described it how our planet, or call it planet B as he talked about, is so dependent on compassion and compassion in action that we all need to get it. And that is what, see, all of us grow up with our own philosophy. It could be Jain Dharma, it could be any other Dharma. But the key thing we forget in the process is how do we put that into action? And that is what we wanted to do at Arihant Institute, just to bring out how do we engage these great teachings from different dharmic and other religious uh, uh, philosophies that we have, how do we deploy them to help ourselves, as we call it, compassion to ourselves, or help others around us, our human beings, our animal friends, our environment, ecology, all that. And that's very important. And I think we saw over the last 2 days how, in a diverse ways, we are doing it. Thank you to all our educators actually to showing us how to become compassionate. And not only compassionate, how do we put that into action? And thank you to our in-field practitioners who have shown us how they can deploy in-field sort of in countless ways. I mean, it's just amazing. I could go on, but this is just such a subject very close to my heart that we really need to put our energy, our thoughts, our efforts into how do we teach our fellow human beings to become more compassionate. That is all about what we want to bring to the global community. As I said, it's a long conversation, but I would like to stop here and truly thank our team. First of all, thank our presenters, thank our everybody who presented and shared their thoughts, shared their experiences with them. I want to thank them really truly from our heart. And then on behalf of our institute, these are the people who make us better. We continuously learn from them. But then our MS students who came to the stage today, they talked about it, and actually Diana happens to be one of them. It's great to see how they are learning to bring this sort of philosophy to life. Finally, thank you, Chris, for your leadership and your scholarship that you're providing. And I want to thank our team. This is just a five-star team. I cannot describe in words how they are working together, how hard they are working. Many of us are volunteers, but they work as if it's a corporate institution. And they are putting in energy and hard work, but with dedication and commitment, all committed to our mission that we want to get to where we want to get to in the shortest possible time. So thank you very much. I have no words to describe how this has come together. Help us, work with us to go to our mission and get to our mission. Thank you very much. Really appreciate that.